What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Boogie 2988 coming at you. Haven't done a Q&A in a while. Looks like the last one I uploaded was on February 19th, 2010. And that just doesn't seem fair to you guys. It doesn't seem fair to me. Well, Google, as you may have known over the past week, introduced a cool new feature called Google Moderator, which allowed me to have a new way for people to submit their questions. And not just submit on them, but to actually vote on them, determine what the highest rated questions would be, and allow me to answer them that way. So what I've done here is I put that up on my page for a week, and now we're going to answer some of the top questions. May not answer all the questions, may answer some, may answer half, may skip over a few. Don't really know, just going to freeform this, but I want to answer some of the questions for you now. And most of this freeform, a couple of questions are rehearsed speech with somebody, but for the most part I'm just winging it. So this is boring to you if it's lame, but it'll make a lot of funny jokes just because I'm answering questions. It's your kind of thing, stick around. If it's not, go watch me fart into a Pringles can. I'm sure that's out there. Question number 1. Boogie, as a teenager in high school, what did you see yourself doing with your life? What did you do or want to be? And how far from that goal are you? Some people know this about me, some people don't, but I had a very turbulent childhood. It was very, very difficult to even really survive. My home was not a home, unfortunately. Without going into too much terrible graphic detail, what I wanted to do was survive. I just wanted to get out of there. I wanted to get better. I wanted to be stronger and be healthier and happier, which I succeeded in doing. And I know that's not the heart of your question. That's not exactly what you're wanting to know. So I will answer your question as you intended it. But the bottom line was, I didn't know where I was going to end up in life, but I knew I wanted to live past 16, and it was a struggle. But I did. I made it 18, and then I made it out of that home, and I began to build a future for myself. And there was even a time when I was practically homeless here in the streets of Fayetteville. There was a time when I had no income. There was a time where I survived by the graces of good people giving me handouts. There were times when I ran my own business and successfully made tens of thousands of dollars every year. There were times where I've been comfortable, times that I've been crazy, and times that I've been everything. But if you're talking about a career, I wanted to go into broadcasting. And I eventually, as I grew older, I decided that I wanted to get into psychology. I wanted to understand the things that had happened to me, and understand the things that were going on inside my brain, and understand why the things that had happened to me had happened. So I studied psychology in school, and I couldn't get enough of it. At the rate that they were teaching me, I wasn't learning quickly enough. So I began to study on my own. And because I felt that I could learn everything I needed to know there, I wanted to do something that I felt would be a little more marketable. So I ended up switching to writing for a while, and wanted to get into the creative writing aspect. Thought maybe I'd get a major in writing, a psych minor, and eventually write psych books. And then changed one final time on my last year here in Fayetteville to computing. But I turned out I was sucked at math, and I wasn't a good coder. And my code always compiled for crap. So I ended up dropping out of school and actually doing web design for myself for the next 10 years. And now I'm doing this pretty much for a living, and I make enough from YouTube to be very comfortable. Not very comfortable, but to pay the bills, and it's nice. So I guess I'm in broadcasting after all. And I guess, you know, with almost 10 million views total all across my videos, and with 30 or 40,000 subscribers, and tens of thousands of views in each video I upload, that seems like I'm really close to the goal. You know, sure, I'm not on NBC every day. You know, I'm not Jay Leno, but my message is really getting out there, and that really rocks. So I'd say I'm closer than I've ever come to living my dreams. Not just career-wise, but all the things I wanted when I was a kid. And I'm getting closer by the day. And it's nice. Hey mate, do you think your time on YouTube has improved you as a person? Without a doubt. I used to be a little more sensitive to what people said or thought about me. That's completely gone out of the window. I used to feel that I wasn't really doing what I was meant to do. But I feel that as I touch people's lives and communicate with them here, make them laugh, make them think, I'm really succeeding at that. And it's very fulfilling. And as I become more and more fulfilled, I become happier and happier. So YouTube has really made me happy, you know. And I may never be as famous as Fred or Shay Tards or you know, Shay Tard, Shay Carl, sorry, or iJustine or whatever. I don't mean to compare Shay to those other two, for the record. I find him completely different. It's so much cooler, for the record. But I feel that the amount of press and the amount of friendship and the amount of wonderful people that I've met through YouTube and the amount of lives that I've touched has really helped me become a little more sane, a little happier, and getting a check every once in a while certainly doesn't hurt. If you could be any Star Wars character of your choice, who would you be? I know the first thing that comes to mind, a lot of people is probably going to be Jabba the Hutt. The children also, right? You know, whatever. But Han, without a doubt. Han, come on, really? Who wouldn't want to be Han Solo? Who, like, literally name somebody? Han Solo. Han Solo. I've noticed that whenever someone calls you fat these days, they end up getting flamed themselves by at least 2 to 4 people on your YouTube channel. How does it make you feel having people come to your defense like this? What's kind of a duality thing. I love the fact that people feel so passionately about me. I love the fact that they want to come to my defense and that they want to call these people fucking stupid. And it makes me feel great. The same time, though, it makes me feel like they're feeding the trolls. Because these guys want to get a reaction out of you. They want you to come to their channel and scream at you. And you're satisfying them in some way. And that kind of makes me sad, because I don't want those guys to get any satisfaction from it. I like it more when they're just flat out ignored. But the fact that people care enough about me and understand my situation and understand my life so well that they can get behind me like that, it's a really good feeling. Boogie, will you ever make a video about your friends and the shop you play at? I'm sure everyone would like to know the people blessed enough to know Boogie. I try to make a point of putting a lot of people in my videos. And if you look, I show our shop several times. In some of my videos, I've filmed at the shop before. If you look at the old Gallery of Champion videos, I have a lot of people that I really cared about in those videos. So scour my channel. You'd be surprised what all is out there. But look at the Gallery of Champion series. It's really funny. I think it really showcases some of my friends. Some of my friends like being on camera, some don't. It all depends on what they want to do. But I definitely plan to continue putting more of my friends on film. Some won't let me, but some will be talked into it, maybe. Do you think you'd be as funny as you are if you didn't have a problem with your weight? I feel like I can ask that question since I only have my own weight problem. Love you, Boogie. Actually, this is one of the ones I discussed tonight with someone special. I think all great comedians start with self-depreciating humor. Carlin made fun of himself for being an atheist, for his drug use. But Richard Pryor made fun of his own drug use. Chris Rock makes fun of his own race. I think to be truly funny, you have to start with self-depreciating humor. If you can't make fun of yourself, who can you make fun of? And so it's natural that I make fun of my own weight. And I enjoy doing it. Because it's one of those things that I can make fun of. Because it's part of me. And I'm comfortable with it. It's not like it hurts me or makes me feel bad when I make fat jokes. I like to turn the other cheek, even though my other cheek is so far away from the first one. Do I think I'd be as funny? Probably not, because my humor was... I've always been fascinated with comedy, and I always wanted to get into it. I always wanted to tell funny jokes. But I think that my wit wouldn't be as sharp as it was, because I wouldn't have faced the constant ridicule that I faced. It's given me the opportunity to practice in everyday scenarios, or beat people to the punch, come up with the jokes, and the fat jokes. And one of the things I mentioned tonight was that I think sometimes making fat jokes is harder. It's the hardest self-depreciating humor to make, because everybody's heard all the fat jokes. It's commonplace to make fun of fat people. It's commonplace in television and stand-up comedy and in the workplace and in home. We all make fun of fat people. Even I make fun of fat people. You know, mostly myself, but still it counts. So I've heard tens of millions of fat jokes. It's hard to think of new ones. So I guess that's an extra challenge. But to answer the question directly, do I think I'd be as funny if it wasn't for my weight issue? Probably not as funny. I'd still be pretty fucking funny, though. I'll be funnier than your average bear. Hey, boober. Sorry, I don't know. Well, that's funny to me to do that right now. What is that awesome orange drink you're always drinking? I actually am just drinking water tonight, but I drink a lot of Diet Sunkist. Boogie, if you had the entire world's attention for 5 minutes, what would you say to us? Probably, this is one I probably should have rehearsed a little bit. Let's see. I'd say that life is worth living. And I feel that way, knowing the things that I've seen, the things that I've endured, the things that I've been through. I still think life is worth living. And I don't know what other people are going through, but tomorrow's another day, you know. It's important to focus on life, to make the best of the bad situation. Life is a bad situation. It's hard, and it's brutal, and it ends in pain and loss and suffering. And you're born alone, and you die alone, and it's only brief moments in between those two that we actually find each other and can love each other and can be kind to each other. And I'd say that we should always keep in mind that the two major goals in life, the meaning of life, is to be happy and then to help other people be happy. And if you can do that, then you'll have lived a full, meaningful, incredible life. And I just want to remind people of that. That's what I would want to do with it. And then I'd also probably advertise a product so I could be rich beyond my wildest dreams. Spend the last 30 seconds plugging. And don't forget, when you're at Walmart, buy red cups. And then the red cup manufacturers would give me $70 billion for, you know, mentioning them. And then I would spend that on hookers and beer and crack and all kinds of stuff. Buy me a dog and eat it. Wow, that's kind of sappy. I guess, I don't know, I guess that's what I would say if I had 5 minutes. What can you say to teenagers who are very quiet and don't show their inner qualities as a result of their looks or appearances, which they may or may not feel comfortable with? By the way, what team sport do you support in the World Cup? Okay, to begin with, World Cup, don't care. Never cared. Soccer, whatever. I like games, and I love games, but I like playing games. And a game that I can't materially participate in, so it's just soccer, not my kind of thing. So, if you enjoy sports, more power to you, but not my thing. But what would I say to teenagers who are very quiet and don't show their inner qualities as a result of their looks or appearances? I got bad news for you. The body you're in is the only body you're ever getting. And you better get used to it, dude. And I don't care if you're fat or you're skinny or you're short or you're tall or you're good looking or you're ugly. I don't care if you got crooked ass teeth. I don't care if you got a broke ass nose. I don't care if you got eyes that look like mud. I don't care if you got a unibrow, you got bad hair, you're balding at the age of 22. This is the body you got. It's the only one you're ever going to get. Get used to it. Get comfortable. Your inner qualities is really what separates you from everybody else. Your talents, your sense of humor, your charisma, your magnetism, the things that you think are cool, the things that you think are funny, the things that you think. That's what makes you a human animal. It's not the meat bag you're housed in. It's your soul, brother. It's your brain. That's it. So why hide that from the world because you don't look like the cover of a magazine? Why hide that from the world because people like to make fun of you because you look a little different? Fuck it. This is the only life you get. This is the one. And this is the body you're stuck in. Make the best of it. Make the best of a bad situation. If you could go back in time and change just one decision you made, which would it be and why? I don't really know if there is one. I like who I am today. I might not have met the people that I've met. I might not have done the things that I've done. I might not have the life that I have today. And I like the life I have today. So, nothing. I'm sure if I really thought about it, I might find something. But right now, nothing comes to mind. Boogie, how do you turn out all these haters? It makes me wonder how you can be that strong and just edge them on for more. It's pure genius. I don't tune them out, actually. I listen to what they have to say. I like it when they scream at me. It brings me pleasure when they rant and they rave. Oh, you're so fat. You shouldn't be on YouTube. You're so dumb. Jesse, you're stupid. Francis, you're a nerd. Boogie, you stupid and ugly. You got bad teeth. You smell like old rotten poop. Oh. It tickles me, man. It's funny. It's funny to me. It used to bother me, but, man, you know, the fact that I can elicit that kind of response is amazing. And it's so amazing how many people whose idea I've actually changed. They'll scream that shit one day, and 3 days later, after they watched a handful of my videos, they're like sending me emails apologizing. So I just see every hater as an opportunity to hopefully change somebody's mind and make them feel a little bit better about life and a little bit better about me, and hopefully in the end a little bit better about themselves. So, if I do tune them out, I just do it by knowing, fuck them. Fuck them. It's just a thing. If there wasn't World of Warcraft, what would be your favorite game? I'm not even playing World of Warcraft right now, and it's hard to say what a favorite game. Games come and go. They're like movies, or like dinner, or whatever. There's not a lot of games that I can play over and over and over and over again. Once you beat them, you beat them. And that's what makes World of Warcraft so amazing. But since the two games that have had the highest impact on me in my life, World of Warcraft and EverQuest. So if I'd never played World of Warcraft, it'd still be EverQuest, I guess, that made that impact. And I think in the end, EverQuest made the hardest impact. Have you ever felt like you had to fight the norms of society in order to feel at peace with yourself? Like, for example, saying, I am going to go to this party even though they don't like fat people, but they're going to like it. You know, simple stuff like that. Yeah, all the time. And in fact, one of my favorite stories is about that. Once I became fully aware that I would be much more comfortable shopping at Walmart or Target or wherever if I used a motorized cart. People stare at you when you're in those carts. They make fun of you. That fat guy doesn't, you don't need to be in a cart. You need to be exercising. You do exercise. Why would you use one of those carts? Because I'm going to be in here for a while, dude. I got shoes to try on. I got electronics to buy. I got toiletries to get. And I got food to buy. This is a 2-hour experience, man. I can't be on my legs for 2 hours. Look at me. I'm carrying around 3 people. Put 3 people on your shoulders, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I do that all the time. I live my life every day. I go out to restaurants even though I know people are staring at me and judging me for what I eat. I go out in the public even though I know people may make fun of the clothes I wear or the way that I walk or the things that I do. I shop. I live my life, and if people don't like it, fuck them. I post videos on YouTube. And if people don't like it, let them rant, let them rave, let them downvote. Let them have their little fun. But I'm here, man. I'm here just like they are, just like you are, and I'm living my life. And you don't want me to live my life? Fuck you. Now I'm using that word a lot tonight. Boogie, did you ever attend college? If yes, why? What school did you go to? What did you study? If no, why not? I have about 2.5 years, 3 years with the credits under my belt. I went to the University of Virginia at Wise, in Clinch Valley College is what it was called at the time. Transferred to the University of Arkansas, studied computers for a while, studied writing for a while, and studied psychology for a while. And I used pretty much all three of the things that I studied every day. Why didn't I finish? Because it became almost impossible. That's another story for another time, actually. Have you ever felt like you just want to give up on life? That's not supposed to be an insulting question, just seemed like it was quite relevant. No, man, I've never felt that way. There have been times where I came close to it, and I guess there's times where I flirted with the idea, but man, how do you give up on life? You only get one. I have thought about suicide, actually. I thought about harming myself. I thought about ending it all. I'm never going to. Why would I? This is the only life I got. And like I said, I never know what tomorrow will bring. There's always good stuff to be had. Steve, my question to you is, number one, what is your advice to other big people in the world? What are your motivational words of wisdom, so to speak, to open their eyes and get some exercise before it's too late? Well, I'm not sure how I feel about that question, but to the other big people in this world, I would tell you that live your life, irregardless of what everybody has to say. So what, you're big? So what, you don't look like other people? Maybe you have a food addiction. Maybe you eat too much. Maybe you're depressed. Maybe whatever. Whatever your reasons are, they're your reasons, and I'm not here to judge you. I'm not judging you because you eat too much or because you got too big. I am here to tell you, though, that you need to get your butt into gear and make sure you're living the fullest life you can, irregardless of any eating disorders you have, irregardless of any psychological issues you have, irregardless of the depression that you have fought. You need to be making the best of your life every day and making the best of your situation. And that may be getting on a treadmill tomorrow and exercising. Or maybe you still aren't ready to tackle that particular obstacle in your life. Maybe you have other things you could be working on. But as long as you're making progress every day, as long as you're living a happy life, and you're trying your best to be happy, then I love you. And I hope you can learn to love yourself, even if you have got a little plus-sized, or even if you've gotten too small because you're bulimic, or even if you're addicted to crack cocaine, or whatever your psychological dysfunction is. Why does it have to just be big people? We all got issues, brother. Just because mine's more visible than other people's doesn't make it any worse. Where do I see myself 10 years from now? I'd love to see myself on Comedy Central. Sup, Comedy Central execs. I'm looking at the guy who gave Bo Burnham a chance. Yeah, motherfucker. I'd like to see myself married with a couple of kids. And I know some of you are thinking, man, you ain't never seen no girls. You ain't never had pussy since pussy had you. Alright, well, whatever you think. It's up to you, brother. This guy calls me Francis, but I want to answer his question anyway. Hiya, Francis. In your videos, you convincingly play what some people would call someone with special needs. How do you feel about the negative, hostile attitudes some people have displayed towards you, to people with learning difficulties and weight issues? Unfortunately, it's the norm. You know, people hate, and hating special needs people, hating somebody because he's too nerdy, hating somebody because he's too fat, hating somebody because they're too popular, because their skin color is different, because they act different, because they look different, because they are different than you, is a very natural part of the sociological and ecological and evolutionary needs of the human animal. So I accept and understand it. And I like to exploit it for hundreds of thousands of YouTube views, and have people go, look at this fat son of a bitch, why does he sit there in video games? Why don't you go outside and have a sandwich? You know, It's quite pleasurable to know that people can be predictable in that way, and that I can capitalize on it. Makes me happy. I don't understand the real reason for making fun these days. We live at a time that diversity can easily be supported. 300,000 years ago, diversity could get an entire tribe of humans killed. So, and had its place then. Why it still exists today, why it's still considered acceptable. And it's not, for the most part. I mean, people do feel some guilt about it. They still do it. But people do still feel some guilt about it. But like I said, it's just a natural part of the human experience, unfortunately. Boogie, how do you feel when you help someone? Pretty awesome. What sort of starter Magic the Gathering card pack would you recommend to someone just starting the game? Two criteria here. Do you want to play on a casual level, or do you want to play on a tournament level? If you want to play on a casual level, I would recommend that you pick up the new starter kit, deck builder toolkit. It's a good leaping point, especially for casual play. If you're looking to play more experience-wise, you should get an idea of what the best decks in the formats are and buy some singles that way. Just as expensive as buying boxes. Rise of the Eldrazi is a good set to play with. M11 is going to be an excellent set to cut your teeth with. So I would recommend, just starting out, buy some M11 when it comes out next week. Buy a deck builder's toolbox and have a good time. In your video where you're talking about what you could do if you had a golden ticket, what would you do if you really did? Like, what happens? Do you get candy or something? I wouldn't want to trip around the world, actually, is what that I think is for. And here's the one that I wanted to end on. And I talked about it several times. Actually, I guess there's two, so I'll save that one to the end. Are you an atheist? And then he actually puts, one of us, geeboo gaboo geeb. But am I an atheist? Well, it depends, and this is an interesting thing. If you mean atheist, meaning I genuinely do not believe in a God, no, I'm open to the idea of a God and of a creator. So I guess that puts me in the realm of agnosticism. Am I a theist? Do I believe that there is certainly a God? No, I do not believe that either. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm fairly certain that there's a God. I'm fairly certain that there's evidence towards it. Do I believe it is the Christian God? No. Do I believe it is the Muslim God? No. Do I believe it's any of the gods that we've ever worshipped as humans? No. In all likelihood, the God that created us is not very active in how he interacts with this planet. In fact, he may not even be fully aware of our existence. And whether or not he's fully aware of me, I sincerely doubt. So, I don't know what that makes me. My friend says that makes me a deist, and I'm comfortable with that. So I guess I'm technically a deist. The final question is, do you suffer from any social anxiety due to your weight? You have no idea, brother. I struggle with so many mental conditions that it's alarming sometimes. I suffer from social anxiety disorders. I suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome style things. I have some issues. But I don't let it hold me back. And I use all of that fear and all of that frustration to power me forward into doing the things that I want, to being with the people that I want, to experiencing the things I want to experience, and genuinely using all of that to enjoy my life. And I know some of you that suffer from social anxiety disorders are going to say, I wish it were that easy for me. And I wish it were that easy for you too. I am truly blessed in that 20-some years ago, I managed to turn this whole mess around and be able to do really good things with it. And sometimes, though, when I go out to meet a new friend, or I go to a party, or even when I'm at work, or even when I'm turning on my camera here, I panic. It's still always going to be a part of me. Recently I met somebody who was very important to me, and I'll never forget the anxiety prior to meeting that person. But in the end, I can always take comfort in knowing that I'm a cool guy, that I'm funny when I can be, and I'm enjoyable, and I'm smart, and I'm proud of the things that I am. And in the end, I know that if I try hard enough and I'm willing to be humble, show some patience, that eventually that will come to the surface. That's what allows me to come back every day for you guys here on YouTube. It's part of one of the reasons I think you guys love me so much, and you guys generally do. So there's the first Q&A since February 18th, 2010. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I answered about 50% of the questions. I got to where it started getting negative. I hope to do it again soon. I think this has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys watch it. Have a great time with it. Post your comments. Rate a thumbs up. And I will talk to you again soon.